What is a GPT? I'm using it multiple times a day.
What a powerful tool and what a beautiful life that we are currently living. We are living in the age of AI, and this is gonna be great.
We won't have any programmers in the future. That's going to be all done by AI.
As far as I'm concerned, as a software engineer myself, I really don't believe in that prediction. I believe the human input will always be needed.
Hello, everybody. So that's our first episode after our introductory episode. So in fact, it's number 2, but this one is about what is a GPT and how it can be leveraged for small and business owners and the businesses themselves and their employees to make sure that all the benefits coming from AI is brought to real applications, practical tips for everybody in the organization. I'm using it multiple times a day. I'm sure you do it, Mo. So
Absolutely.
first of all, what is a GPT and its definition?
Absolutely, Steve. And before we start, let's share a little bit of the energy with everybody that is listening to us. Welcome to another episode, another time, another way to share with you the power of technology in Make Tech Work for You, Unplugged for Entrepreneurs. In today's episode, as Steve mentioned, we are going to dive deep into the power of GPTs and how can you use them in your organization, in your startups. Let's say, for example, you have an idea, you have a company in mind, you have a project and you're struggling, you don't know exactly how to do it. Today, we're going to make it super easy. Initially speaking, we are going to speak about the definition of GPTs, which is a fancy way to say generative pre-trained transformers, which is a tool that is used in order to predict future content based on historical content. A lot of time you will hear companies speak about GPTs and speak about leveraging GPTs in creating text-based content, which is mainly in the format of ChatGPT, Gemini, Anthropics. These are some of the companies, some of the players that are currently using these technologies in order to offer the public, developers, companies, enterprise clients options where they can generate some text. But to speak about those, I give the floor to my co-host, Steve. So, Steve, tell us a little bit about text generation and why startups and business owners should consider it.
Thanks, Mo. So yes, the obvious for everybody is text generation with OpenAI and all the other GPTs. That's amazing what it can do. Lately, obviously, the memory as well has been increased. So you can do like long chats and get a lot of information. In my case, I'm using it every day just to sometimes to improve my English writing or even my French writing sometimes. And we can talk about it and make sure we can generate documents. You can also put everything you do at the end in a Word document because OpenAI working closely with Microsoft, you can use the power of Microsoft Office, not all of them, but for sure, Word is an example. For Excel, you can generate tables and those tables can be imported in Excel. So you should try it and put that everything in the document. That can help to speed things up when you have a lot of documents to generate. And obviously, I like it. This is a great example. Mo, can you talk about the Canvas feature that has been released not too long ago, where you can be very specific? So I'm going to let you talk about that.
Absolutely. So Canvas is a powerful feature that was added to the family of ChatGPT tools and engines. It mainly allows us to work on a document simultaneously. So you can share that document with your colleagues, your teammates in a project, and also add more detail to your prompt. So in order to interact with these generative AI tools, the main, let's say, communication channel is going to be prompt engineering. So you give the tool a question or a request, and then the tool will go ahead based on the data that it was trained on and based on the model that's currently you are using. That tool will give you an output that perhaps resembles some old documents, some old knowledge, because all that knowledge that we are currently getting from ChatGPT is knowledge that was perhaps used in order to train that model. So Canvas is an amazing opportunity to collaborate on a document together. So let's say, for example, you are working on a digital marketing strategy and you have some specific sections that your team is working on, and person A is going to work on the introduction, person B is going to work on the main digital marketing strategy lifecycle, and person, let's say C, will work on the main digital marketing tools that your company or your team or the project that you are working on will be using. So that collaborative aspect is an amazing addition to the ChatGPT infrastructure. In addition, we also can change code format. So using Canvas, you can perhaps start your project using, for example, Java programming, which is a programming language that is mainly used for Android development, and then convert that same code to Python, C++, C Sharp, a different
Amazing.
type of code. So that's amazing. And this can be done with one click. So you don't have to struggle and go back to the documentation and do all of that. So what a
Yeah.
powerful tool and what a beautiful life that we are currently living. We are living in the age of AI, and this is gonna be great.
One thing I like about Canvas, I didn't use it as much as you used it yourself for code generation. It's more about text, but you can go specifically in one line, one paragraph and change it versus having to create a more complex prompt that will say, okay, if you look at this section, you need to change the second line and improve it for this. And it takes like another 30 seconds to generate all the text again and again if you don't ask in the prompt to not generate the text again. So going right there and just say, hey, can you improve this, add this, change that? That's amazing. You can pinpoint the right place, the right text, the right paragraph, the right line to make it happen quickly. So Canvas is a big thing in text generation. And thank you for the coding piece. And we'll talk about more about coding later. But that's what I wanted to
Absolutely.
add to your Canvas part of the conversation.
Absolutely, Steve. I'm 100% with you. I think that's an amazing input. And you also made me think about Canvas in terms of language difficulty. So in Canvas, you can actually change the language difficulty. So if you are working on a scientific paper or something that is a little more
Mhm.
technical and concepts that are difficult, and you need to share those with your team that is not too technical, what you can do is ask Canvas to change the language from difficult to easy, simplify the concepts to make them easy for everybody that is currently consuming that content in a very easy manner. So you can change the tonality, the language difficulty, the length of the document. So many amazing features. Wow, what an
Yeah.
amazing tool. And this is really a good perhaps idea to also speak about taking notes using OneNote. And I know, Steve, you have a lot of experience using those tools, and I would love to if you could share with us some of that experience so our listeners can also enjoy using those tools in their daily projects.
When I'm creating something, I'm thinking about business models or helping a customer or one of my businesses. What I like to do is go somewhere else, like on this couch here, and take my tablet and handwrite my ideas and do some drawings. And now when I do that, I do them, I'm cognizant of the fact that I don't want to rewrite these things in a Word document or in a Canva presentation or PowerPoint. So what I do is I use the screenshot first. My tablet is synced up with my PC. So I open OneNote on my PC and I just copy paste the image and I say extract the text and extract some visuals, which OpenAI is not great at extracting visuals yet. But in terms of the text, sometimes what I can do is I just put a rectangle to the section and say, can you extract the text that is within those triangle and put them in section below. So this way I can just copy paste them in Canva and make a section with bullet points and that's it. So I'm cognizant when I do my notes now that they may be transposed or ported on Canva. So, but I'm using my Open AI account to do that, and that works great. So for me, I don't waste my time doing it, and my creative brain works better with my handwriting. So, and I'm not alone like this. So that's a great advantage to be able to transpose all my ideas into whatever format I want afterwards. You are on your side of expertise. What about the data analytics? I've used it a bit on certain other GPTs, not the basic one, which is not basic, but the more specific one. But I didn't use them much yet. So, what about your experience with data analytics and AI?
Amazing question, Steve. Wow, wow. What I can say about data analytics and the uses of generative AI in data analytics, it is an amazing, amazing, amazing tool, especially for new data analysts or even expert ones, because nowadays you don't have to go back to the documentation of a tool or a technology in order for you to get up and running with using data analytics. And the idea here is to automate that process and let you focus on the insightful part of it, the answers part of it, the part of it that requires some human input. So what happens is simply ChatGPT and most of the generative AI tools are available in the marketplace. They enable you to generate a Python code that will enable you to analyze any kind of data. So CSV data, Excel data, database files. So any types of data that you have can be easily generated using that amazing tool, which is the generative AI tool. And then you can also ask the tool to generate reports, dashboards, visuals, predictions. So you no longer have to go back to the, for example, if you are using Python, which is a very easy to pick up language, super useful programming language for data analysis and artificial intelligence, you no longer have to go back to the documentation, read about the function, read about how these tools work. You can easily just ask the tool to do the work for you. And of course, explain the process, because it's always a good idea to understand what's happening, what's going on in there. And then based on those results, keep going in the process, cleaning the data, pre-processing the data, visualizing the data, and finally, based on those findings, generating a report that you can share with your team. And obviously, it's always an amazing practice to tell your team, hey, by the way, this report was generated using, let's say, ChatGPT. Read it with skepticism, if you will, because sometimes it makes mistakes. So it's always a good idea to automate the work and also double check, double check, double check, double check. I always say, tell people that I work with, don't double check, triple check.
Lately, I went to climb the Aconcagua mountain in Argentina. And we had a schedule about what should we do on day one, day two, day three, with some, I would say, flexibility during the trip. But I said, we don't have the distances. What do we do on these days that we are walking? How much elevation do we do? And all these things. And I wanted to know about the adaptation, acclimatization. So I chatted with ChatGPT and asked, I say, here's my plan. And I just paste the image right there. I said, look at the plan, please summarize it. The summary was perfect. And after I said, can you put that in a table and add the columns about elevation, distances, and estimated time? So basically, I spent like half an hour to chat with ChatGPT to build up a plan that we knew, we learned more about the distances and the elevation we had to do on the Aconcagua mountain. So anyways, it's not data analytics, but it made me think about having a nice table, like kind of a dashboard that we kept with ourselves on the mountain. And we know that, okay, 16 kilometers, 7 kilometers, but that's steep. So you have a bunch of tools on the market, but there is one, no money out of it, no link whatsoever, but Synthesia .io is the best to do video creation. And we have a project together that will use most probably Synthesia to make it happen. And they are amazing at doing video avatars. It could be this setup, it could be myself. So the face with the voice and even my hands moving, it's amazing. So Synthesia.io, it's not a GPT per se only, but it's a big package on top of all these things. And they are amazing. So, and I think we will spend more time as a tool eventually in a future episode just about Synthesia and what it can do, and with the different plans as well. So, but going back to what you alluded to a few minutes ago, code generation. We hear so many things about the NVIDIA CEO and other CEOs or Microsoft CEO as well about we won't have any programmers in the future. That's going to be all done by AI. So what's your take on this? And what is the benefit today about the code generation capabilities in these tools?
As far as I'm concerned, as a software engineer myself, I really don't believe in that prediction. I believe the human input will always be needed, because these tools they still need that assistance. I worked on many projects using current advanced tools and the premium models, if you will, and you always have bugs, you always have issues, you always have some security concerns that you have to double check, triple check before you can deploy the code. So I think in the future, we're not only going to be thinking about building a mobile application for a, let's say, an electronic store. We are going to be saying building a mobile application for an electronic store that is secure, safe, protects data, follows all the compliance that we have currently in the world, respects the privacy of users. So these are not going to be taken under consideration if speed was the only variable that we are taking under consideration. And these generative AI tools are an amazing opportunity to fasten the process. You can develop an application in 2-3 days, 1 week maximum. You can have it live in the app and Play Store without any issues. But is it safe? Does it have all the best security practices? Does it respect all the data privacy and compliance that is available in the marketplace? And these data compliance are changing over time. They were trained on data that did not contain the new compliance, the new laws, the new regulations. So it makes sense. It's not their fault, but it's just the world that is changing fast. But we human beings, we can easily read these new laws, read these new compliance mechanisms, pick them up, understand how we can implement them in our companies. And yeah, so I believe we are going to need less software engineers, but the one who will lead the way are those who use generative AI in order to enhance, to speed up their workplace. And in terms of technologies available in the marketplace, I think it's always a good idea to know the programming lifecycle to understand if statements, variables, loops, understand these concepts, but without really diving deep into one specific programming language. Because nowadays you can just ask any tool, generate Java code, generate Python code, generate C++ code. So any type of code that you want, you can generate it. But the logic and the algorithm, that's human based. That's your intuition, how you solve a problem.
That's
You
a,
know?
that's a good tip for the business owners because as in this podcast, we are simplifying things. So we don't ask business owners to become programmers if they are not, but
Absolutely. Absolutely.
finding the right courses, the right videos on YouTube to teach the programmers in the business to speed things up because in business as entrepreneurs, we need to do things quickly. We need to test our ideas quickly. So coding faster and faster makes a lot of sense. And I'm with you in terms of co-piloting those code generators. I mean, I've heard many times that it's not perfect. That's not always good. So the last example, a real life thing, like a very short story from me. I was driving to meet the people to go in the woods and climb a mountain in New York State. And I said, hey, maybe I should chat with the enhanced voice of ChatGPT, which is very nice. So you have the basic one, which is a white cloud, and you have the other one. So you have to make sure that you get the right one. Sometimes it's not enabled for whatever reason yet. I don't have the answer about that on that. But using it as a kind of a director of marketing. In my opinion, many organizations are missing the boat with marketing. They all believe that the product will sell by itself. Being an engineer and I've built many products and software, that's not true. Marketing has to be done and done well because there is a lot of other products and services being offered on the market. So we have to be different. We have to find a way. So I was driving and I was chatting with GPT or Chat GPT, and I was impressed by the answers. And I was challenging him or it all the way in. It's amazing how much things. And after that, you can say, hey, wrap everything up in one Word document and you're driving, so you don't touch anything. And by having that in a Word document in your chat, you can always retrieve it. Like I was living on a Friday, I can retrieve it on Sunday night and say, hey, everything, not everything, but the summary, the most pertinent aspects or topics we discussed. And I shared with ChatGPT and he answered. We can put that in a nice document and share it with the team or improve it. And again, go back to Canvas and rework it and make it a nice report for your director of marketing example or your marketing person at the company. So I found that very interesting. You need to spend a lot of time to make sure that you're exposing what you have and what you learn from the discussion, bringing back all the time. And at the end, you get something that is very instructive. And if you apply only, let's say, a small percentage in the short term for your business, That's going to be very helpful. So I'm kind of mixing my opinion on marketing being done by companies versus, again, AI that can help you a lot instead of going and outsource too quickly on certain things as a business owner. So you can save a lot of money by using AI with all the examples that we shared with you. So that's it for the examples. So last word, Mo?
The last word would be use AI as a tool. Don't think of it as something that is unique or special. It's just like a car. It will take you from point A to point B. Experiment with this tool as much as possible and pick the right tool for your project and for your scenario. Or sometimes this is something that I think not a lot of people are talking about. Combine these tools. So many times you can have a project and you can combine a tech stack, they call it, of these tools in order to build your project or to start your company in a very easy manner. So yeah, Steve, just have fun.
So that was Make Tech Work, Unplug Entrepreneurs. So subscribe if you want to get some value for your own business regarding emerging technologies and technology in general, with experts coming in, entrepreneurs coming in, and we'll talk about tools and having a fun conversation, bringing value to your endeavors. So subscribe, please, encourage us, and we'll do more of them with better quality and with a lot of experts coming in too. Thank you.
Absolutely. Have fun.